Find a needle that is 1.5 centimeters from the shoulder seam and line it up with the seam on the neckline facing. Pin the pieces together with the right sides facing each other. Now match the remaining 3 pins on the neckline with the 3 pins on the neckline facing. In the areas between the pins, stretch the neckline so that its length becomes equal to the length of the facing, then pin the parts together. Sew the pieces together using an overlock. Remove pins while sewing. Having reached the place where the stitching began, make 2.5 centimeters over the stitching. Do this carefully so as not to cut through the loops of the first stitch. Make a small tail so you can tie it. Unravel the seam slightly and tie the ends of the threads so that the seam does not unravel. Cut off the excess ends of the threads. Press seam allowances towards the neckline facing. Secure the position of the seam allowance with a stitch 1.5 mm from the seam. But before that, you need to adjust the stitching so that it does not burst when the neckline is stretched. Take a piece of fabric cut in the same direction as the facing piece and fold it into 3 layers. Switch the machine settings to a 2.5 mm straight stitch and any needle position that suits you. Make a stitch on a sample of knitwear, then test it for stretching. If the stitching has broken at the top, then you need to loosen the upper thread using the thread tension wheel. If the stitching has broken at the bottom, then you need to loosen the bottom thread using the screw on the shuttle.